The AMARA woman is a uniquely designed, strong, essential, and graceful woman on the journey to improve her total body wellness through social connections, health, and happiness, and with a sense of purpose. You're tuned in to My AMARA Letters, real intimate solutions to your really intimate matters, advice letters answered live by Dr. Yvette. Hey AMARA Beauties, you're listening to My AMARA Letters, where I get to answer your advice letters live with a perspective on health, business, and relationships and lifestyle. I'm your host, Dr. Yvette. And this is episode 4 of My AMARA Letters. We're in the Freedom Beyond the Pandemic series. This week's theme is fully living. Our word for the week is fulfillment. So let's find out now how this week's AMARA Beauty wants to level up her lifestyle. Dear Dr. Yvette, I sat down the other day and literally checked off items on my happiness must-haves list. And yes, that's an actual list I made as a teenager. My list contains the things that I felt were non-negotiable for me to be happy as an adult. The other day, I was able to check off many of the main things I had written down, things I wanted to accomplish prior to retirement age. I have 1, a loving marriage and a happy husband to grow old with. 2, 3 beautiful, well-rounded, and respectful children. 3, a healthy family. 4, a nice home in a nice neighborhood. 5, nice vehicles. 6, a good career for both my husband and for me. 7, a good church home. 8, more money than bills. 9, increasing retirement funds and investment. 10, college funds for our children. And 11, family and friends that I can depend on. As I checked off my list though, a feeling of still somehow being incomplete came over me as I just tried to smile. There was a hole or something that I forgot to add to my list. I thought so hard that I almost had a panic attack trying to figure out what was missing. After a while, I put my list away and I carried on my plans for the day. Later that evening though, my husband asked me what was on my mind because he noticed that I was a little different. I was distant. I told him about my list and showed it to him. He immediately pointed out that happiness wasn't on my list. I started to explain to my husband that the list consisted of things that meant happiness to me. And I showed him how I had been able to cross off a lot of the stuff from this list as being accomplished. Then he said, if having all of that is supposed to mean happiness, then why are we even having a conversation about something missing? You need to find out what's missing, but you have to understand that having stuff does not necessarily mean happiness. And I've been trying to figure that out ever since our conversation. I was able to determine that accomplishing what I had on the list was not taking away from my happiness, but I am still unsure of what is missing. Not knowing what I missed on this long, exhaustive list is really, really bugging me. I've sat in silence just trying to think about what's missing. I've sat with a pen, I've sat with a paper and just wrote whatever came to mind. I've asked other people questions. They didn't even know what I was doing, but I was trying to see if they could help me fill in the blank. I feel like there's a blank. I thought I was living a full life, but now I have a question mark on this list that I cannot check off, and it's causing me mental stress. I think I have done everything I know how to do at this point, and I still haven't found what's missing. So Dr. Yvette, what am I not doing to find out what I need? Signed, ready to live fully. Well, here's my response. Dear AMARA woman, how wonderful. I too love making good lists and setting goals. It's just such a rewarding feeling to be able to mark an accomplishment off my list. I just don't remember planning my entire future when I was 17 years old. But after reading your letter, I have a few questions that jumped out. So bear with me as we go through this process. I'm wondering, did you adjust anything on your list to fit your needs and your wants as you matured beyond 17? I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's kind of hard to believe that a 17-year-old is emotionally and mentally mature enough to know exactly what she wants as an adult. At 17 years old, better decisions are made than younger years, but knowing exactly what your adult future holds, including all the changes, is just not known. And although we have these emotions and they're not really stable, many decisions are still based on emotions. So did you live your life solely to mark these things off your list, or did you seek enjoyment in life? And I'm guilty of having to face this truth also as a list checker. I am a list person, like I said before, but we have to be very careful not to be confined to our list. And so confined to the point that we're not living in the moment. And what I mean by this is life is meant to be enjoyed. Even the challenges we have in life help us better enjoy living with the new knowledge that we glean from all of these experiences. Think about this. If we are only living via a checklist, we are nothing more than robots. So based on what you've written, I don't believe you've lived without accepting changes totally. But also based on what you've written, I can see why you feel like you haven't fully lived and that something is missing. Ready to live fully? First, truthfully answer the questions above. Your answers are gonna allow you to step away from your list to live in the moment. Next, I say just put the list away. Now, you don't have to destroy it. You don't have to say you'll never look at it again, but for right now, put it in a safe place to revisit later. Most often, what we seek to make us happy is known, but we've pushed it back to do what we think is expected of us. Without thinking of anyone else's expectations of you, close your eyes and think on the following. You're the same age you are now. You're standing in a beautiful open field with the sun shining. It's the perfect temperature. There's a smile on your face and it's so big, it looks like you're just glowing. Now, repeat after me, but complete this sentence without hesitation. Now, this is important. If you don't complete the sentence the first time, repeat this until you can. This exercise will help you grow. So I'm gonna say a phrase. And when I say the word because, you continue speaking whatever flows naturally from your lips. You ready? I am so happy because I finally blank. I am so happy because I finally blank. Whatever you filled in the blank with is what's missing. You're closer to finding happiness than you think, so don't panic. Reflect, plan, act, and please feel free to change your list as you see fit. The only expectation that life has of you is that you live it to its fullest. Fulfillment is within your reach. So as we close each and every episode of My AMARA Letters, I say to you, my dear AMARA woman, I'm Dr. Yvette, wishing you life's best and pouring into you so you royally pass life's tests, equipping you to power through life's stress and challenging you to live your best and to make this day and every next day better than the rest. You're strong, you're resilient and essential, rare, delicate and graceful. My beautiful AMARA woman, keep loving and living in the freedom of being you. For the complete letter and response, subscribe to My AMARA Letters, available on all podcast platforms, or visit theamarawoman.com. For a full visual experience, watch weekly episodes on YouTube, search The AMARA Woman, take a listen, and subscribe.